Jesus never moved a real mountain in Scripture. I mean, we don't have record of everything that he did, but you would think that if he moved a real mountain, we would have a record of that. So why did he say you could tell a mountain to move? Jesus said, faith moves impossible. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said from our weekday Bible plan at bible.today.church comes from Matthew 17:14 through 20. And we're reading today from the New Living Translation. At the foot of the mountain, a large crowd was waiting for them. A man came and knelt before Jesus and said, "Lord, have mercy on my son. He has seizures and suffers terribly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't heal him." Jesus said, "You faithless and corrupt people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me." Then Jesus rebuked the demon in the boy, and it left him. From that moment, the boy was well. Afterward, the disciples asked Jesus privately, "Why couldn't we cast out that demon?" And then going on to verse 20, "You don't have enough faith," Jesus told them. "I tell you the truth. If you had faith, even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it would move. Nothing would be impossible." And so those are the verses that inspired the soundbite today. Jesus said, faith moves impossible. Now, this is an extreme contrast that Jesus is using here. And just to give the timeline here, this is right after the Transfiguration, which is where Jesus was seen with Moses and Elijah. And then it was also near the end of Jesus' ministry. He had walked on water, he had fed thousands, he had raised the dead, and had long before given the disciples authority to cast out demons. I mean, back in Matthew 10, he called the 12 disciples together and gave them authority over unclean spirits, and so that they could cast devils out and heal all kinds of diseases. But Jesus never moved a real mountain. So why did he tell them that they could, and by extension tells us that we could? Well, faith isn't controlling God like a genie in a bottle. It's not about us being in control, but faith is realizing God is in control. Faith is about relationship and trust, not results. Jesus got pretty frustrated with the disciples, and with good reason. They already had what they needed, and he had told them what to expect. But following his example, we need to realize that faith isn't doing our own thing. Faith is doing what Jesus did, and he only did what the Father was doing. In John 5:19 through 20, so Jesus explained, "I tell you the truth, the Son can do nothing by himself. He only does what he sees the Father doing. Whatever the Father does, the Son also does. For the Father loves the Son and shows him everything he is doing. In fact, the Father will show him how to do even greater works than healing this man. Then you will truly be astonished." Jesus only did what he saw the Father doing. Faith isn't a wish, it's an action. But the disciples believed more in their own weakness and humanity than in the power and position they had been given. And don't we do the same thing when we don't take God at his word? I mean, you don't need giant-sized faith. Jesus is making the point here that even the tiniest amount, a mustard seed, is enough, because you don't have to be enough. God already is more than enough. It's not you trying to fill up what's lacking in our faith, but faith is confidence beyond the circumstance by taking God at his word and acting on it. 1 John 5:14 and 15 tells us, "And we are confident that he hears us whenever we ask for anything that pleases him. And since we know he hears us, when we make our request, we also know that he will give us what we ask for." Faith doesn't rely on anything other than God's promises, doing what God said. And a little dab of faith will do more than dynamite. Even mountains will move. Jesus said, faith moves impossible. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really means a lot to me. If you like it, if you share it, if you comment, I really appreciate you. Hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.